Hello students, this is your continuation video of your second chapter geography, that is land, soil, water, natural vegetation and wildlife resources. In our previous video we studied about land and soil. Today we will look after water, natural vegetation and wildlife resources. Resources again means anything we use to satisfy our need is a resource. There are three types of resources again, that is natural resources, human-made resources, human resource. Natural resources which is gift for us by the nature. Human-made resources is also man-made resources. Human itself is a resource. Students, open page number 15. Water is a vital renewable natural resource. 3/4 of the earth's surface is covered with water. It is therefore appropriately called the water planet. So students, water is a renewable natural resource. It can be replenished or renewed, and 3/4 of the earth's surface is covered with water. Henceforth it is known as water planet. Why it is known as water planet? Because 3/4 of the earth's surface is covered with water. It was in the primitive oceans that life began almost 3 billion years back. Even today, the oceans cover 2/3 of the earth's surface and support a rich variety of plants and animals. Though 2/3 of the earth's surface is covered with ocean, it supports varieties of plants and animals. The ocean water is however saline and not fit for human consumption. So we are having this much of water, but that is saline. Saline means salty, which is not fit for consumption. We cannot use that water. Fresh water accounts for only about 2.7%. So fresh water what we are having, that is only 2.7%. Nearly 70% of this occurs as ice sheets and glaciers in Antarctica, Greenland and mountain regions. So this 2.7% we are having fresh water, but in this 70% of water it is in Antarctica, and due to their location they are inaccessible. Now we cannot go easily and get this water. This 70% of water which is in Antarctica, we cannot get it easily. Only 1% of fresh water is available and fit for human use. Though it is a water planet, but only 1% of the water is fresh water for human use. Other 70% it is there, but it is in Antarctica, in glaciers and ice sheets. It is not easily to go and get it. It is found as groundwater, as surface water in rivers and lakes, and as water vapor in the atmosphere. So this 1% of water where we are getting? In the groundwater, in the lakes, in the rivers, and also in the atmosphere as a water vapor. Fresh water is therefore the most precious substances on earth. So what this water we are having, fresh water, it is more important for the survival for everyone. Water can neither be added nor subtracted from earth. Its total volume remains constant. Its abundance only seems to vary because it is in constant motion. Cycling through the oceans, the air, the land and back again through the process of evaporation, precipitation and runoff. This, as you already know, is referred to as water cycle. Now what water we are having, fresh water, it is having a circular motion. I will show you. Already in your lower classes you might have read about water cycle. For example, now this is mountains or hills. This is rivers or oceans. Now the sun rays gives a warm, very heat rays. Sun is having very heat rays. So what it is doing? It is giving his rays, and this water what we are having, it is evaporating. This is evaporating and it is forming a cloud. Now this clouds, this evaporation becomes so much that these clouds turn into black clouds. And it keeps moving with the help of wind. So now when finally the clouds are very heavy, it falls as a rainwater. Again this rainwater goes to river. Again this sun rays is because of the sun rays, the water gets evaporated, form the clouds, again the rain. This is happening in a circular motion. This is known as water cycle. Now turn your page, students. Page number 16. Humans use huge amount of water not only for drinking and washing but also in the process of production. Water for agriculture, industries generating electricity through reservoirs of dams are other usages. Now water what we are getting, we are not only using for drinking and washing purposes, we are using water for other purposes like agriculture. India is completely dependent on agriculture. We are using it for the agriculture, we are using it for the industries, we are using it for the dams and everything. Increasing population, rising the demands for the food and cash crops, increasing urbanization and rising standards of living are the major factors leading to the shortages in supply of water, either due to drying up of water sources or water pollution. Now the way the generation is getting up, rising the generation, or the living, or the standard of living is becoming very heavy, or rapid urbanization, rural people coming and settling in cities and all, these are the main reason why there is a shortage of water or water is getting polluted. Now we will see the problems of water availability. There is a scarcity of water in many regions of the world. So everyone is having the problem of water. Most of Africa, West Asia, South Asia, part of Western USA, Northwest Mexico, part of South America and entire Australia are facing shortages in water supply. So these are few countries who are facing water supply, like they are not getting adequate water for using. Even in some part of India we are facing water problems like Chennai, Bengaluru and all. And according to the study or according to the sources, in 2040 we will not get a fresh water itself. Not we will survive, like we will be begging for a drop of water. The way we are using now, the way we are wasting the water now, if we continue, if we will not stop till 2040, there will be not a single drop of water in our country or in our world. Countries located in climatic zones most susceptible to droughts face great problems of water scarcity. Without water, obviously there is a drought. Thus, water shortages may be consequence of variation in seasonal or annual precipitation, or scarcity is caused by overexploitation and contamination of water sources. So these are the problems what we are facing, and also there is a scarcity of waters because sometimes the what rain we are getting, we are not getting adequate rain. What formation is this is called as precipitation. Now what rain we should get, we are not getting because it depends on the climates or it depends on the season to season. Now conservation of water resource. We know the problems. Now how to save this, we will learn. Access to clean and adequate water sources is a major problem facing the world today. What we are facing, we want a clean fresh water, but we are not getting it. Steps have to be taken to conserve these dwelling resources. Even though water is a renewable resource, it is overused and pollution makes it unfit for use. Now we know it is a renewable, it can be replenished, but also what water we are getting that is not fit for us, and in future we will face a severe problem of water. Discharge of untreated or partially treated sewages, agricultural chemicals and industrial effluents in the water bodies are major contaminants. Now why it is getting contaminated? Because what fertilizers, pesticides we are using in the agriculture, that water, that because of that thing the water is getting contaminated. And they pollute water with nitrates, metals and pesticides. So these are very harmful chemicals which are in the water, and they are also harmful for the life of aquatic animals also. Now coming here, page number 17. Most of these chemicals are non-biodegradable and reach human bodies through water. So these chemicals are the nitrates, metals and pesticides. These reach to the human and these are not biodegradable. Water pollution can be controlled by treating these effluents suitably before releasing them into water bodies. We should know what kind of materials, like what kind of acids or what kind of pesticides or fertilizer we are releasing in the water, so that at least we can stop what contamination is going on. And water pollution can be controlled by these. If we will look after all this, then we can control the water pollution. Forest and other vegetations cover slow surface of runoff and replenish underground water. Water harvesting is another method to save surface of runoff. Now water harvesting in the house in Tamil Nadu, we will see this. What rainwater is coming, we will store that in the ground, and whenever we want, we can use it. That is rainwater harvesting, and we will mostly see this in Tamil Nadu and UP and all. The canals used for irrigation fields should be properly lined to minimize the loss of water seepages. So the wastage of water, how to stop the wastage? The pipes what we have fixed in our agricultural field, we need to see whether they are doing correctly or not, whether the pipelines are fixed or not, so that the drops of the water, even a single drop matters a lot, so that the water is not wasted. Sprinklers effectively irrigate the area by checking water loss through the seepage and evaporation. In dry regions, the high rates of evaporation, drip or trickle irrigation is very useful. So we need to find the different methods where we can save the water or where we can waste the less amount of water. The valuable water resources can therefore be conserved by adopting these means of irrigation. So this drip irrigation, sprinkle irrigation, if we start using this, then surely we can control the wastage of water or control the contamination of water. So this was all about the water. Now we will learn about natural vegetation and wildlife. Natural vegetation and wildlife. Some school children were visiting an exhibition on handicrafts. The articles in the exhibition were collected from different parts of the country. So there were few students who were visiting to the exhibitions, and they saw there are so many handmade articles. Mona picked up a bag and exclaimed, "This is beautiful handbag. Hence it is made from jute," the teacher said. Mona was a girl and she picked up one handbag, and she said, "Oh my God, this is so beautiful." So the teacher said, "This is made from jute." Do you see those basket lamps and lampshades and shades? Those are made from canes and bamboos. In the eastern and the northern eastern humid regions of India, bamboos grows in plenty. Jessie was excited to see the silk scarf. "See this beautiful scarf." The teacher explained that silk is obtained from silkworms that are bred on the mulberry trees. So there was another girl, she was explaining how it is made, the bamboos, the chairs and all are made with the bamboos. And also there was another girl, she took one silk scarf and she said, "This is so beautiful." The teacher said, "Do you know how it is made?" "It is from silkworm." And she said mulberry trees. The children understood that plants provide us with many different products that we use in our day-to-day life. So plant is providing us, right? What we are using, it is because of the plants. Natural vegetation and wildlife exist only in narrow zone of contact between the lithosphere, hydrosphere and atmosphere, that we call it as biosphere. Now, natural vegetation lies between, it's a narrow line between natural vegetation and wildlife, and we are having lithosphere. Lithosphere is land, hydrosphere, that is water, atmosphere, that is air, and combination of these three we call it as biosphere. Bio means life. Now, in biosphere, living beings are interrelated and interdependent on each other for survival. This life supporting system is known as ecosystem. So now bio means life, sphere means supports the life. Now humans and these animals and plants are interdependent on each other. Now for example, plants, here comes humans, here comes animal. Plants are dependent on humans, humans are also dependent on plants. Humans are dependent on animals, animals are again dependent on plants. This way, this is known as chain, or we can say it as food chain. We are interdependent to each other. Plants provide us with timber, give shelter to animals, produce oxygen we breathe, protect soil, so essential for growing crops, act as a shelter beds. See students, we have already read about the uses of plants, what it provides us timber, that is furniture, and gives shelter to animals. It produces oxygen. Yes, we release carbon dioxide and we breathe in oxygen, and it is produced by plants. Protect soils. Already we learned in the soil topic that it protects soils and act as a shelter belts, help in shortages of underground water, gives us fruits, nuts, latex, turpentine oil, gum, medicinal plant, and also the paper that is so essential for your studies. So these papers are also given by plants. Henceforth we are interdependent. Page number 18. Turpentine oil is nothing but it is used as a medicinal oil which is used for applying for our pains, like joint pains or muscle pain and etc. Latex means it is kind of a rubber tree. We get everything of rubber. It is like a milky fluid. There are innumerable uses of plants and you can add some more. So these are just a few examples they have given, but they are in so much of number, you can still add on. Wildlife includes animals, birds, insects as well as the aquatic life forms. So wildlife also are animals, aquatics also, and also insects, also birds. They provide us milk, meat, hides and wools. Animals provides us milk, dairy products and meat, and also the skin of the animal. Hides means skin of that animal. Insects like bees provide us honey, help us in pollination of flowers and have an important role to play as a decomposers in the ecosystem. So insects like bee provide us honey and they are also useful for pollination. That means transferring pollen grains from male to female stigma for the production, and they act as a decomposers in the ecosystem. Ecosystem where plants and animals and live together. Human beings live together. The bird feed on insects and act like a decomposers as well. Now what birds also do is whatever the bacteria, fungus we are having in our earth, everything is consumption. Everything is consumed by the insects or the birds. So they act like a decomposers. Vultures, due to its ability to feed on dead livestock, is a scavenger and considered a vital cleanser of environment. So scavenger means who like vegetation. Now vegetation depends according to the rainfall. Where there is a heavy rainfall, then there is surely a vegetation. Rainfall is favorable for vegetation. The growth of vegetation depends primarily on temperature and moisture. The major vegetation types of the world are grouped as forest, grassland, scrubs and tundra. So what? Vegetation normally depends on rainfall and they want temperature and moisture. Normally their vegetations are grouped as forest, grasslands, scrubs and tundra. Now shrubs like bushy plants where we will see, and tundra is where there is low temperature. In areas of heavy rainfall, huge trees may thrive. Like heavy rainfalls, we will get this vegetations. We will grow this vegetation or develop. The forests are thus associated with areas having abundant water supply. Obviously, when the forest is grown, when there is more water. As the amount of moisture decreases, the size of the trees and the density reduces. Everything depends on the rainfall. If there is no water, then the size and the density of the forest also get decreased. Short stump trees and grasses grow in the region of moderate rainfall, forming the grasslands in the world. Thorny shrubs and scrubs grow in dry areas of low rainfall. In such areas, plants have deep root leaves with thorny and waxy surface. Reduce loss of moisture through transpiration. Transpiration, it is a process of movement through a plant and its evaporation. Now for example, transpiration means now this is root of plant. These are some flowers on plant. Now this is sun. What happens? How much water is required, that much is taken by the roots and the remaining is transferred by the sun rays. It has been transferred through evaporation, and this is known as transpiration. It leaves the plant for transpiration. Now, tundra vegetation of the cold polar regions comprises of mosses and lichens. Now, what happens, tundra region means it is very cold, low temperature areas, and where it grows mosses and lichens. Forests are broadly classified as evergreen and deciduous forests depending on when they shed their leaves. So now forest what we are having, that is evergreen, means every time it's green, and deciduous forest. Evergreen forests do not shed their leaves simultaneously in any season of the year. So only it is named as evergreen because it is always green, and it will not shed its leaves in any season. Deciduous forests shed their leaves in a particular season and conserve loss of moisture through transpiration. By this they lose their moisture. By the transpiration they are losing their moisture, and those are known as deciduous forests. Both types of forests are further classified as tropical or temperate based on their location in different latitudes. Now we are having two latitudes, that is Tropic of Capricorn and Tropic of Cancer, and in between this region we will find such forests, and India is in between the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn, and according to this location the plant grows. You have learnt in detail about the various forest types and their distribution and associated animal life in the previous class. Today there are many more people in the world than there were 2 centuries back. Now, how many people comparatively 2 centuries back, today's population is much greater. To feed the growing numbers, large areas of forest have been cleared to grow crops. Forests cover all the world in vanishing rapidly. So what happening now? The people are growing now for staying for the people. Now so many people, the population is growing. What they will do? They will cut the forest. So this way the forests are getting vanishing rapidly, that is very fastly. There is an urgent need to conserve this valuable resource. Now, how we are cutting the forest and staying, or maybe rapid urbanization, or whatever the reason might be, but we need to save this resource. Conservation of natural vegetation and wildlife resource. Now you know the problem, now we will see the solution. Forests are our wealth. Plant gives shelter to the animals and together they maintain the ecosystem. So I told you we are interdependent and together we form one ecosystem. Changes of climate and human interference can cause the loss of natural habitats for plants and animals. Now climatic conditions, doesn't matter which like what problem you are having, even natural resource like natural disasters and also human interference can cause the loss to this nature. Now what happened, many species have become vulnerable or endangered and some area on the verge of extinction. That means it is in the danger of disappearing forever from our world. Like for example, we are having dinosaurs. Now we cannot see even a single dinosaurs. Vulnerable, it is, we are feeling so helpless to help them. Deforestation, soil erosion, construction activities, forest fires, tsunami and landslides are the some of the human and natural factors which accelerate the process of extinction of these resources. Now extinction again, disappearing forever. Now what are the problems? That is deforestation. Rather than planting the plant, we are cutting the plant. Deforestation means cutting. Soil erosion means getting the soil washed away. Construction activities, we are cutting the plants and we are constructing. Forest fires, it is again a natural resource like natural disaster. Tsunami and landslides are the some of the human and natural factors. So these are the reasons why we are facing this problem. Human and also some natural resources. One of the major concern is poaching, which results in the sharp decline in the number of particular species. Like poaching means hunting of animals. For example, tigers. India has the largest number of tigers, but today if we see how many tigers we were having before, we have been reduced the numbers. So hence the government is taking legal actions on hunting the animals. The animals are poached for the collection. Why they will hunt the animals? For the collection of illegal trade of hides, means the skins, nails, teeth, horns as well as the feathers. While they are illegally trading, they are selling the skin of an animal, the hides of animal or the teeth of animal or hair, nail and everything. Some of these animals are tiger, lion, elephant, deer, blackbirds, crocodile, rhinoceros, snow leopard, ostrich and peacock. These animals we are using for our own benefit. We are poaching them, we are hunting and we are making a illegal trade. This can be conserved by increasing awareness. Now how we need to conserve, how we need to stop this, how we need to protect and preserve it? By awareness. How we put awareness? On your page 21. National parks, wildlife sanctuaries, biosphere reserves are made to protect our natural vegetation and wildlife resources. Zoos and all will see, national parks and wildlife sanctuaries, they are there where we can preserve our animals. Conservation of creeks, lakes and wetlands is necessary to save the precious resource from depletion. So creeks means nothing, small river, and these are also very important to save from depletion or to get extinct. There is a balance in environment in the relative number of species. It is not disturbed. Human activity in several parts of the world have disturbed the natural habitats of many species. Now some we will see they are not disturbing us, we are disturbing them to stay, to live happily. Due to this indiscriminate killing, several birds and animals have either become extinct or on a verge of extinction. By this, what happens? By hunting or whatever, now what happens? They are in the place of extinction or they are already extincted. That means they are already disappeared. No one. Now for example, I have given you dinosaurs. If we keep on hunting and using them, then they are they are in a state extinction. Awareness programs like social forestry and One Mahotsava should be encouraged at regional and community level. So they are telling One Mahotsava. One Mahotsava means this kind of programs. Vana Mahotsava. Vana forest. Mahotsava celebration. If this kind of programs they will start, then we will know the importance of their lives and also we will celebrate them. We need to celebrate them in the regional level or a community level. School children should be encouraged to bird watch and visit the nature camp so that they can appreciate the habitat of varied species. So even in the schools and all, they are telling we need to show them the life of these birds and species. Many centuries have passed laws against the trade as well as the killings of birds and animals. So many countries, not only India, have banned the killing of animals or trading the animals. In India, killing lions, tigers, deers, great India, bustard and peacock is illegal. If we kill such animals, it is illegal. Everyone might have known the case of Salman Khan, right? He killed a deer. So from 20 years that case is running because it is illegal. And international convention sites have been established that list several species of animals and birds in which trade is prohibited. So site means the Convention of International Trade in Endangered Species, and they are telling that some of the animals and birds are listed which is prohibited for trading. Conservation of plants and animals is an ethical duty of every citizen. So saving the plants, preserving the plants or protecting our plants and animals, it is a duty of each and every individual. And by this we will end your chapter.